Hi guys, Louis explaining Elvis. So I've just got home, had my little get together for my daughter's, my brother's daughter's 26th birthday. I thought it was 25th, it's 26th. She only looks about 18. So I got 10 minutes before I go. I like to go to bed early and go through all my messages, check all the things that have been sent to me, like research. So I thought, do you know what? I'll just quickly do a quick video. I love James Brown. I've actually seen James Brown in the 90s. I think it was 92, 91, 92. Where was it? I think it was Wembley Arena. I think. It's a long time ago. I was very lucky. I was right at the front and I was blown away. Honestly, the people I was with weren't really James Brown fans. I was, yeah. And I was a massive James Brown fan, and I got to see James Brown right up close. Literally, almost touch him and obviously his band. He's amazing. He could still do his amazing dance routines. Even he would do the whole get down on one knee thing and have the cape over him. Wow! So this comes up. I've done a few videos concerning James Brown's friendship with Elvis. Obviously, we heard that James Brown, obviously, very good friends with Elvis, but was distraught at his funeral. So let's just play it. We're going to have to do a bit of stopping and starting to keep YouTube happy so we don't get copyrighted. I'm going to play it. We're going to say a few things on it. Little chat. Then I'm going to bed. I'm going to upload it live in the comments, and then I'll join together with you guys, and we can watch this together. Okay, guys, here goes. By the way, I have not watched this. The YouTube channel is, let's see if I can find it. Hang on, let's try and get it to work. It's one of these buttons. There we are. I have not watched this. The YouTube channel is Elvis News Examiner. I don't really know the channel. I am subscribed to it, which tells me that I've watched it before. The video brought to you by author Trina Young. It says here from the News Elvis Examiner. All right, she's got a few things here. The video brought to you by author Trina Young, the Elvis News Examiner. For more fascinating Elvis stories, check out our books. And we've got a list of books here. Yeah. Come on, she's an Elvis fan. James Brown talks about Elvis in surprising, rare interview. Okay, let's do it.
And I don't care what nobody say. I know Elvis. You know, there are a lot of rumors.
James Brown, the godfather of soul, spoke about Elvis Presley after his death in a revealing interview. What nobody expected to hear was that James Brown and Elvis Presley were good friends.
Oh, I knew they were friends. Let's keep going.
Well, soul has no color, has no barrier. But I also had a lot of good people that brought out a lot. I want to pay a tribute to a good friend of mine, Brother Elvis Presley, who opened up a lot of doors for me to get through.
So do we get that, guys? When he says open up a lot of doors for me to get through, I think you understand what he's saying. Elvis made that kind of music mainstream. So everyone followed, didn't they?
James Brown and Elvis first met in July 1966 in Los Angeles. Presley's friend and DJ, George Klein, had first met James when he appeared on his Memphis-based show called Talent Party. James appeared several times on the show in the mid-1960s, and they became friends.
See, I never knew that. You learned something new.
So when James was in Los Angeles attending Jackie Wilson's show, George introduced them. Quote, "I told Elvis James was just a few tables away," recalled George Klein. But knowing how all eyes in the room, including some press eyes, were watching Elvis, and knowing how the press sometimes made a big deal of the hierarchy of stars, I wondered if he wanted to take his seat and have me bring James over to him. "No," said Elvis. "Take me over to James." From that night on, they were fast friends.
Love it. Absolutely love it. It's quite fast-paced, guys. So I'm trying to keep up.
Quote.
Elvis was a pioneer, and he came out 1 year before I did. He was out in 55, Heartbreak Hotel. And then I come in 56. And Elvis and I were very good friends up until the last minute of his bodily life. But he'll always live because of the fact he was such a beautiful man.
George Klein described in his memoir, Elvis My Best Man, how James Brown visited Elvis at Graceland several times over the next few years. Quote, over the next couple of years, James did get to spend quite a bit of time at Graceland.
So, guys, are you James Brown fans? Put it in the comment. Do you have a favorite James Brown song? I love everything James Brown.
Sometimes, if he was in town, he'd just cold call and try to catch Elvis. And I was lucky enough to be there a few times when James and Elvis spent the night singing gospel songs together.
Wow, could you even imagine that? Elvis Presley, James Brown in Graceland singing gospel together. Wow.
Unquote.
And I don't care what nobody say, I know Elvis. You know, there are a lot of rumors. Elvis and I sang spiritual together. And he'd buy any movie that I make, any film, he'd buy the film and close the theater up and show it.
Not only did Elvis and James sing spirituals together at Graceland, but also in Las Vegas in Presley's penthouse suite at the International Hotel, now called the Westgate. James Brown's money man and best friend, Fred Davis, described the night Elvis and James had an informal gospel concert in Presley's Las Vegas suite.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
But we went down to the suite, and Elvis met us out in the hall as we were getting off the elevator, and I went upstairs to the suite. He was a floor above us, and but they were laughing and talking, and we went inside and had some sandwiches and coffee, and the next thing they got to singing bars of gospel music, and they were teasing each other. Elvis would say, James, I bet you don't know so-and-so and so-and-so. He'd say, oh, man, yeah, and he'd sing a few bars, and James Brown would do the same thing to him.
Wow. Oh, I would love to have been there.
You don't know so-and-so. And Elvis said he went to church, he knew them all. He said, well, I go to church too. He said, I know more than you do. And they were teasing back and forth about who
Love it, guys.
knew all the gospel songs. And they went back and forth. It was like a little tit-for-tat battle, like two little kids, you know. And James Brown loved Elvis, and Elvis loved James Brown. Anyway, they put on a mini concert there. James Brown sat out on the piano stool with him, and they sang gospel music for about 2 hours.
Wow. Oh, my God. Could you imagine someone recorded that?
Here's a fun fact. What is one wardrobe item that Elvis and James Brown had in common? They both wore capes during their concerts.
And when I went to see him, he was doing the whole cape thing, down on one knee. You know what he does? He pulls the cape over himself. It's just fantastic.
James Brown's use of a cape in his concerts became one of the most legendary trademarks of his performances. The act began as a theatrical device to heighten drama. James Brown first started using a cape during his performance on The Tammy Show in 1964. At the end of an intense song, Brown would collapse from exhaustion by kneeling on the floor, and a member of his entourage would rush out to drape a cape over his shoulders. Just as he seemed finished, Brown would spring back to life, throw off the cape, and continue performing with renewed energy.
Oh, I love it. I wonder where this statue is. Wow.
This ritual gave fans a powerful emotional experience, cementing the cape as part of his Godfather of Soul persona. 7 years later, in 1971, Elvis started wearing capes with his famous bejeweled jumpsuits. The capes were initially intended to add flair and drama to his live performances. Elvis was inspired by superhero imagery, particularly figures like Captain Marvel Jr., a comic book character he admired in his youth. By adopting capes, he could project a larger-than-life presence on stage, embodying the role of a modern-day superhero of rock and roll.
This is great, guys. I love this. Look at that. Wow. Now that is a statue. Look at that. Let me know in the comments exactly where that statue is, guys. It looks obviously like it's going to be Memphis or Tupelo, isn't it? One or the other. Let me know, guys.
Dramatic flourish of spreading or discarding a cape added to the spectacle of his shows, aligning with Presley's reputation as a dynamic entertainer. Ultimately, the capes symbolized Elvis's evolution into a showman who transcended traditional rock style. When Elvis died in August 1977, James Brown came to Graceland to pay his respects to Elvis.
I've heard this story about James Brown, but let's let the lady tell it.
Presley's body was brought to the mansion for a private viewing for family and friends. A public viewing for the thousands of fans who gathered outside the mansion.
Wow, look at that picture. I mean, I'm not sure if I've got it right. I heard there was 80,000 people there. 80,000 people.
Was also held earlier that day for 3.5 hours. George Klein explained, quote, "One of the first phone calls I remember receiving after Elvis's death came from James Brown, who wanted to tell me how broken up he was over the news."
Definitely. I've seen a few interviews with James Brown talking. He was very, very seriously affected when Elvis went.
He asked if he could come to the house during the private viewing. I remember being taken aback by how truly distraught James was. I walked him over to the casket, where we both just stood silently.
Oh, so sad, guys.
Then he sat quiet and motionless in the corner of the living room for a long while before joining the rest of the mourners in the den, unquote. In his autobiography, Brown wrote about Elvis, quote, "His death hit me very hard. When he died, I said, 'That's my friend, I have to go.'"
Yeah. Do you imagine? They were friends. They were very close. They sang gospel together.
I love Elvis for being a man. I love him for what he done for the people and the chance he gave me. He kept me from being number one. I was number one soul and he was number one world, and it took a long time, but it's almost like the two rental cars. It made me try harder. And
I love that. He made me try harder.
I love Elvis for it, and we'll always pray for Elvis.
In 1978,
Beautiful, beautiful. I will always pray for Elvis.
a year after Elvis died, James Brown recorded his own version of "Love Me Tender" as a tribute to Elvis. It was released as the B-side on the single for his song, "The Spank." At the beginning of the song, Brown said a few words about his friend, expressing his love for brother Elvis Presley,
See, I didn't know this, guys. I wonder if they'll play it.
calling him the king of rock and roll. To listen to Brown's soulful version of Presley's famous song, "Love Me Tender," see the link in the description below. James Brown wasn't the only black celebrity that praised Elvis. Those who falsely accuse Elvis in the present day for stealing songs from the black community aren't aware of the many black artists of the time who respected Elvis and were friends with him,
Brilliant, brilliant. Well said.
including Muhammad Ali, Jackie Wilson, B.B. King, Cissy Houston, and more. Watch this video next to see and hear when Muhammad Ali called Elvis the greatest.
Ooh, look. Ooh, I want to do that. It's giving me a link here, but it's not letting me click on it. Should we see if we can find it? Now, the wife's going to be home in a minute. I wonder. Let me see if it's going to let me do it. I would love to see Muhammad Ali talking about Elvis. Let's have a look. Ooh, is this it? Come on.
Muhammad Ali is considered
Okay, guys, I was going to go to bed, but I am a massive Muhammad Ali fan. I was talking to Nicola about this yesterday. Nicola actually got hugged by Muhammad Ali. She told me all about this when she was a little girl. Something to do with, I'm trying to remember now, something to do with her I can't remember. All I know is that she is a big fan of Ali, like me.
by many to be the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. "I'm the greatest" became Ali's catchphrase even before it was true. "It's not bragging if you can back it up," Ali once said. But there was one person besides himself who Ali also called the greatest, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
So if my wife turns up, I am going to have to go. This is only 8 minutes long. Fingers crossed, yeah?
Tell the world Elvis is the greatest of all time.
Ali visited Graceland during Elvis Week in 1985, 8 years after Presley's death. On August 16th, Muhammad Ali agreed to speak at the annual memorial service for Elvis, sponsored every year in Memphis.
I think they might be here. If they are, guys, we'll do this tomorrow. Yeah. All right, guys. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.